Every time the market gets chaotic, I panic. I just have no idea what to do. Honestly, I hear that a lot. It's something so many traders go through. I used to chase spikes, panic, try to guess where the market was going until I realized something important. The market doesn't have to be predictable, but you can be predictable for yourself by following a clear system. I'm Nia, and today I'll show you one of the strategies that helps me stay calm even when everything else feels unstable. We'll go through it using real chart examples, the same ones that usually trip people up. Let's go. Today, you and I are going to analyze situations on the platform, and for successful analysis, first of all, we need to set up the workspace. To do this, I set the time frame to 5 seconds and add the MACD and RSI indicators. I leave the default settings for indicators. Then go to the right side of the screen, set the expiry time to 15 seconds. Let's get to the analysis. First of all, we all see a strong upward movement, which is accompanied by an upward movement in both instruments. But there is a transitional moment which can be seen in these instruments, in connection with which I open a position down and we caught it successfully. We see upward movement of both instruments and on the chart, but there is a reversal at this point. The green line crossed the red line from the top to bottom and fell below zero. The second instrument from the overbought zone started to come into balance, and when it is in the overbought zone, the chart needs correction. In this regard, I opened a position on the corrective downward movement and successfully fixed it. Sometimes it really does feel like you versus the chaos, but that's just not true. The same things that help me are now helping others. No fluff, no guesswork, just real steps. How to think, how to act, and how to make decisions even in unpredictable markets. Honestly, I feel like there aren't enough of these tools out there in open access. That's why I've been collecting them all in one place. Moving on, in EDM, an upward movement that ends relying on the indicators. Because of this, I open a position down in the hope that there will be a downward correction and the expiration time. Can you tell what combinations of tools you use to analyze situations on the platform? I'll be interested to read, and maybe I'll use some combination in my videos. Great! The situation worked in our favor. Here we have seen an upward movement on both instruments, and at this point the histogram started to turn red, which means that a small correction is possible. Also, the second instrument has also started to go down as well. Consequently, I opened the position down and successfully closed the position. Just recently, someone from the community messaged me. The market's going crazy again, but for the first time, I'm not. I just followed the system. That's the power of having a system. You stop guessing, and this isn't some rare story, it's happening all the time. Structure removes panic and brings clarity and control. I move on. I see an upward movement that is accompanied by the beginning of a downward movement in both indicators. The instrument was in the overbought zone and needed correction. In this regard, I open a position down and wait for the time of expiration. Great position. We can notice the following. There was an upward movement, but in this area, the chart was in the overbought zone. This indicates a correction, and this was also confirmed by the first indicator, in which the histogram crossed the zero mark and the corrective movement downward began. Two tools pointed this out to us, and due to this, I opened a position down and a perfect result. I want you to understand something. Everything you're seeing in this video isn't just a chart breakdown, it's part of a system that I use daily with my subscribers. And I've built it so even total beginners don't get lost, they can just jump right in and apply it right away. They get real tools, actionable steps, and slowly start to see the market, spot repeating patterns, and trade based on a plan. That's the most important part. Moving on, we see a strong downward movement. Because of this, I open a position down on the continuation and move and wait for the expiry time. The trade is simple and interesting because in this situation, there is a strong downward movement without any buyers showing up. The line is moving in a narrow channel, which is directed downward, and the tools point to the same thing. It is important to note that the second instrument is not in the oversold condition. It does not need an upward correction. And due to this, a position was opened on the global trend and successfully fixed. I'm moving on. In this situation, we see a sideways movement in which I will open a position down, and let's wait for the result. Awesome! This position has proven to be successful. We have first two pointing to the down position and the second two pointing to the down position along with the chart. The three arguments we had coincided and we successfully closed the deal in our favor. Good job, folks! So we can stop for today. Write in the comments what other tools to try and what videos you'd like to see more. Now you've seen how this strategy plays out step by step, even in unstable conditions. And hopefully you've noticed the real takeaway. It's not about guessing the market, it's about knowing what you're doing and why. And that's where confidence comes from. Once you've got a system, the panic fades and you start trading calmly with intention. So if you're ready to do more than just watch the chart breakdowns and actually learn from them, now is your chance.